Now before I go any further with this back plate, I need to make a few repairs. Now typically I'm not making repairs on a new construction project, but this Madagascar rosewood has some splits that run out all the way to the edges. That's going to be a concern when we take this down to its final thickness, because those areas are going to become fragile. I don't want to risk a long crack or even an entire side splitting on that. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and address that. To reinforce those areas, I'm going to use a cleat. Now a cleat is nothing more than a wood patch that would normally be placed right over the top of that crack. But we're going to do a couple of things that are going to enhance that and make it look just a little bit better. First, we're going to use the wood that we cut off as the scrap from this piece. That way it's the same exact wood. But we're going to change the grain direction to be the opposite of what's running down the back. That'll give us some extra reinforcement. I'm also going to cut a pocket for that to run down into. That way we'll be able to sand that flat, and hopefully at the end of that we'll have a nice finished look as well. I'm going to run this through the drum sander to get it all the way down flush, but that should do the trick. I just got to do a few more. This is frustrating. See the spot here? It's too low. I've already got all of the cleats in it, and I ended up with a cleat in every corner. Now, I understood what I was getting when I signed up for this piece. It was clearly marked when I bought it where these splits were, so I knew I was going to have to do that. So I'm not complaining about that, but now I've got this gouge in the middle that I wasn't really planning on, and it is around 50 thousandths deep. And the problem is that I've only got about 20 thousandths more to sand on this before I'm done, and it's going to be at the thickness that it needs to be. So this gouge is still going to be here. And I wouldn't mind it aesthetically. It's on the inside, you know, it's not terribly visible, but one side of it still is going to dip underneath one of the brace locations. So I'm concerned that I'm going to have one of these braces that's not going to have good contact through this area. So kind of debating on what I need to do. I think I'm going to have to plug it. So I've got this teardrop shape that we're going to have to plug. What I've done is I've created 1/2 inch increments on here and then measured the width at each of those increments. That's going to allow us to transfer over into the CAD program and make a pocket shape first and then a plug to go in that as well. Let's take the picture back out there. And now we've got this shape to work with. Oh yeah, nice tight fit too. I hope that's the last of the repairs. Look how good this turned out. I mean, you can barely tell, other than a little bit of the difference in the coloring of the wood grain there, but man, I am really happy with the way that that turned out. This other gouge is still in here, but I'm not going to worry about that. It doesn't fall underneath any of the braces, and it's just kind of a naturally occurring in the wood, so it's just going to be kind of an organic piece of that. It's not hurting anything, so we're just going to leave that be. It's almost ready for braces, but we've still got to get that back center strip inlaid down the middle, so that's what we're going to work on next. I think I'm just going to leave it on top of this board when I remove it, because this thing has been so brittle and fragile that I just don't want to take any chances. The backstripe is good to go, and man, that could not have come fast enough, because handling this thing makes me nervous. It seems like it is willing to crack at any point that I handle it, so I am ready to get that bracing done. The first thing I need to do is create a support strip all the way down the seam of the back, and we're going to do that with this spruce by cutting strips out of this. Now this spruce is going to be oriented so that the grain is running in the opposing direction. Remember, we've got grain running vertical up and down the back, but we need to run horizontal against that to provide any kind of additional support for that seam. So we'll cut strips out of this spruce, stack them together, and then glue them into one big long strip. Once all of that's good, you can just go ahead and take a sanding block and clean up all of the little joints that you just made, just to make all that look nice. You probably got a little bit of glue squeeze out on there if you got the right amount of glue in there. So you're gonna have a little bit of cleanup, and now's the time to take care of that as well. One last thing that I like to do before I get the back braces put on is I like to go ahead and create a beveled edge on this, just for a nice overall aesthetic look. Once you put the braces on, it's a lot harder to do that, so now's the time. Next up, we gotta radius some braces. Now once again, these templates come in amazingly handy, because placing these on top, I now have a place that I can mark each and every brace location so I can get those cut out for the braces to fit into. With a nice sharp pencil, I can put a line right where that brace is going to sit. And with all those pieces marked, now I can go ahead and put my braces in and make a mark for the lengths on each of these as well. And once again, save yourself the effort. Stack those all up so all of the lines match up, and you can just make one cut. Double check that I got the sizes right. Now I can take all these over to the radiusing machine and get them all shaped up. Enough of that mess. With my chisel, I'm just staying inside of the lines that I drew, just to try and get as tight of a fit as possible. I can always widen it out if I need to. And I'm trying to be real careful to get down to the bottom here without taking any of the back away. Just getting down past the glue. And what you're shooting for is a nice tight fit that kind of snaps into place. Should have to kind of force it into the slot. You don't want it pushing against that, but you just want a nice firm joint there so that you have nice clean lines, just like that. And all done. Each joint a nice tight fit. With those all radiused and slotted in place, we're ready to get some glue on those and get it in the vacuum press. But that's about it for the back. Now, all that is left is to go ahead and shape out these braces. So I'm just gonna put a contour in the end and then a peak really down the middle. That's gonna be the same operation on every brace. So not all that interesting. So I'll do that while we're away. But when I come back, we're gonna be working on laminating those sides. If you haven't seen that process before or don't have any experience with that, I think you're gonna look forward to that episode. But until then, I'll catch y'all next time.